We'll be going there at some stage. It actually looks like we're going to start on Sanctuary, but in either case, Sanctuary is going to be the Reinhardt version of that Goats instead.
Very beautiful. Very autumnal. Or fall, as they call it in the US of A.
Ready for battle.
Okay,
Just behind the Mecha base as well, you can see in the distance on the right there.
I thought that was just a cruise ship.
No, that's the Mecha base, I believe.
Well, we've all
I hope I'm not wrong,
today.
but...
yeah, I mean, if you are, then, well...
Well, it didn't mean anything anyway.
What if it's both? What if the Mecha base actually can also move? That would be pretty saucy.
I think that would be ideal.
You'd kind
I do want to talk about the comps a little bit. GrandXur are going to play,
do that.
again, what's been kind of touted as the Super Cree comp, which is a single DPS. Everyone is kind of supporting this McCree. Instead of a second DPS, you're going to have Charm playing this Brigida.
LYNX, on the other hand, we've seen a little bit of this already. This is going to be Natsu-sama out
Super Genji?
Yeah, I guess. It's sort of same thing, but with the Genji instead of the McCree, but it's the McCree getting the opening damage, getting Rod Tongue out of the picture first off the bat. Nearly got the trade back on Hugo, but not quite. Instead, it's Panties who gets picked, and this should give GrandXur precedence over the point as it unlocks.
And this is why you put the McCree in there instead of the Genji, because the pick potential from the McCree is so much higher. You have a flashbang that you can follow up with the shield bash, or vice versa. The fact that you can layer the CC and the stuns on top of each other is how you're going to get the damage. LYNX TH is going to respond here, and Natsu-sama is going to go into Zarya, and they're going to play Winston Goats.
They might as well at this point. They've got a good opportunity to approach the point. Some nice angles for it. Hamzy, tighter angles this time.
You can see the damage output as well. Both Charm and Hamzy on 65 plus right now. LYNX TH not even close to that. Bellows on 57. Trying to find their way in, and we're ticking up on progress, 29%.
Yeah, LYNX really have to find their angle in, and Bumbarapa takes a ton of hurt
Papillon
on the approach, but Papillon is the first pick. Now, Bumbarapa gets traded out with the mech now gone. Hugo coming up on Transcendence will be very crucial in this fight as the rally out from Charm as well gives them enough time to charge it up. Still just looking to get Hamzy into the thick of it so he can really lay out the damage. Finally able to get aggressive, puts the hurt onto Rod Tongue. There's the dive, nice barrier to stop the flashbang. Bello gets picked out on the front line of that. Sound barrier buys LYNX a bit more time here. They've got a Transcendence to
watch the Natsu-sama.
The whole time, though, GrandXur have been in control of the point.
We should be seeing a grab come through at any point. Papillon goes down again. That's a second death, and he doesn't have the ability to use the primal raise. That's going to really hurt now. Looking for the grab coming through. 90 plus charge on Natsu-sama.
Charm takes some chunks, but Rod Tongue and Bumbarapa go down. That hurts the ability to follow up the damage here, and Natsu-sama goes down. Second deny in the fight from Hamzy. Does get flanked around by Panties, but it doesn't matter. GrandXur hold on to that, getting those tank kills just before the grab. So pivotal.
And GrandXur were holding out despite having a player disadvantage. Papillon went down early, came back, died again without using the primal race. Probably a mistake on his part, unless he was bashed out, in which case you might be able to say, well, that's a little bit too bad. But 90+% here, GrandXur haven't given a single percentage over to LYNX, and we're running out of time.
That wasn't a bad fight for LYNX. It just went on too long for it to be a failure, ultimately. Self-destruct up in the air from Silver Coin doesn't connect. Now it's LYNX TH's turn for the same, but don't quite get the angle in. That being said, Silver Coin does lose the mech to Bello. Now they have an opportunity and an advantage in numbers as the Transcendence from Hugo finishes up. Low, but he's getting topped off. Hamzy doesn't quite get the last few shots through, and now he is under pressure from Rod Tongue on the backline, who has found Silver Coin, traded out with his own life, and Panties is down, so GrandXur again holding out very nicely here. Another Deadeye to come up from Hamzy, looking for an angle. Bello did pop the shield up, but they're losing their other members, and GrandXur is poised to 100-0 this first map.
And that's a commanding start. Look at the side of LYNX TH. The last three members on your screen, Rod Tongue, Panties, and Zobi. They had ults coming up online, if not the ults themselves. All three died without having the opportunity to use them. That's a big, big loss for the side of LYNX TH. They just had the resources kind of coming up. Panties dying on 91%, Rod Tongue dying on 98%. Zobi might have even died with the actual sound barrier, or maybe close to it. They were just so close to having the abilities to come back, but couldn't quite get them.
Is it a cruise ship? Jury's out.
Well, this is definitely the Mecha base. So.
Yeah, we're going to the Mecha base. That's the real thing here. So we'll get to see a little bit of that. And one of the interesting things about this is, of course, there is the timed environmental effect around the point. It can change how teams have to approach at certain times. Not the most impactful thing, but GrandXur Stick with the same comp. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And by the way, because it's Super Kree again for GrandXur, they can take advantage of the high ground, which LYNX know already, so they're going to challenge for that high ground immediately, and it's going to cause GrandXur to make a quick rotation to the opposite side.
Same comp as well from LYNX TH, except for the tank of Rod Tongue. He is going to be playing Ryan instead of Winston. Might be a bit more comfortable for him.
And it's going to be a ring around the rosy here. Eventually, we're going to have to get onto the point itself, and LYNX probably want to be the team doing that, but for now,
nice.
They want to get onto Hugo.
Yeah, Rod Tongue found Silver Coin. That opened up the back line for them. They picked Hugo. You see these other supports on GrandXur getting low. Rod Tongue, low but still alive. This is so huge, and just a slight difference to what we were seeing out of him on Winston. Now they're able to open up on the tank lines, and despite Marlon being alive for so long, hopping around the point, trying to stall it out, it's LYNX taking the opening fight this time around.
And they're using their initiative as well. They're not just waiting for the point open. They're not waiting for GrandXur to really find advantages here. Now going to see Hamzy and Pyong changing the heroes onto both the Zarya and the Rhine, now playing their own goats. And for GrandXur, losing Hamzy and Hugo right off the bat, those are probably their two highest damage dealing players.
Rally out of Bello does get matched by Char, but Papillon still goes down. That's a great opener. That Earth Shatter from Rod Tongue wasn't hugely impactful, but they're forcing GrandXur right back into spawn anyway. This is where LYNX now just back up and bank up more percentage.
Charm's going to go into the Brigade here. Papillon has been finding some difficulty staying alive across Winston and Ryan. He's been consistently the first one picked out. Now I know in Goats versus Goats, the 3-3 versus 3-3, once you get bashed out, that's game over.
Nicely placed grab from Natsuru Sama to avoid. Oh, Al, excellently done. That's just so nicely done. They avoided the defense matrix. They placed in the self-destruct. They charge in and find Papillon. LYNX are actually playing a really high economy game right now.
And by the way, when you're playing Ryan Goats versus Ryan Goats, one of the key things to look for here is who has momentum in terms of ults. Because LYNX TH actually won the opening fight, they're now snowballing very hard. GrandXur waiting for those first two tank ults to come up. Hamzy's only at 82. LYNX TH still have this Earth Shatter. They still have double support ults. They're so far ahead.
That's the thing, because they've been able to get so much with so little. Gonna come in now with a set of Marlon. They do have a Transcendence as well. Zobi's been able to hold on to his sound barrier. Transcendence out from both of these Zenyatas. The Shadow from Rod Tongue not finding much. Hamzy with the grab didn't find much himself either. Now it's got to be Papillon to get something. Throws it in. Good connection. They find Natsuru Sama. They find Boombarappa's mech. That's so crucial. Natsuru was so close to having that Graviton search. Rod Tongue Low has been able to get a little bit of damage in, but it's not enough. He's finally going to go down. LYNX have pushed it up to 90, but GrandXur are in the driver's seat now.
And this is where GrandXur are able to make some catch up, and it's going to have to be a lot of catch up because despite LYNX actually losing the cap and losing the fight, they're actually still an advantage in terms of ult charge here. Panties is not super far behind Hugo, but the rest, look, Natsuru Sama's on 96, Rod Tongue's at 86. You look at the side of GrandXur, their two main tanks are so much further behind. LYNX have the ability to flip this round instantly, and if they do, they cap out at 100.
Trying to get the charge in was Papillon. Oh no! Absolutely massive! The follow-up wasn't that quick, but they do get the grab in there. The self-destruct excellently placed. Boombarappa indeed. LYNX already off to a great start in this fight. They have thrown all their ultimates into the mix though, which has made it expensive, but they will get the point.
This will be a cap out. And Hamzy's still coming back, and he died, which means he couldn't quite get the ult charge either. Charms onto Tracer. Papillon dies immediately onto the Wrecking Ball.
Silver Coin took a bit too high of an arc flying onto that point and couldn't contest it. LYNX, they looked a lot stronger on the mecha base there than they did compared to Sanctuary. Now we're all tied up on Busan.
And it's the good start for LYNX TH. It's exactly what they need. It's the opposite of what we saw from GrandXur on the Sanctuary, where they had the Super Kree come out, and the Super Kree got so much value. LYNX just could not catch up this time around. They just shut down the McCree right away. GrandXur are going to say, let's do it again on this downtown map. This is where we're going to make it work for the last time. And for LYNX TH, if they can get that lead again, snowball their tank ultimates, snowball this composition with the Ghost now going back onto Winston, that's how they can find their win again.
This is exactly what I want to see. I talked about how downtown is a map where you can just kind of play any composition and, you know, may the best man win. So GrandXur sticking with the Super Creed, LYNX going to be sticking with the Goats. Let's see who executes their favorite better.
Now you need Hamzy in a good location. What you don't want to have is Hamzy finding too close range. You want to make sure he's got something there. And not feeling too confident. I wonder if they're going to go for maybe a Widowmaker. No, they're going to go for a Ryan and a Zarya. I was going to consider possibility of Farah coming out as well, but the safer option is to try and match in Goats, and in this case, maybe even outplay Goats because it's Ryan into Winston.
gives point priority over to LYNX, who are maybe about to secure this cap. In fact, have got it. So GrandXur just conceding that one so that they can come in a bit more favorably. Natsuru-sama low and Panties as well low. All just a little bit separated off, but Papillon is the first casualty. Bello finds his counterpart. That's not what GrandXur needed, having been off to such a good start. They didn't quite capitalize on the division of LYNX.
So here's the thing that you're going to look for when it's Winston versus Ryan here. First of all, when the Ryan gets shouted, a lot easier to apply, but before that happens, the actual engages are easier by LYNX. Because they have a Winston, they have dive pressure. They can go in with the Diva. They can actually find back lines. You can't do that with GrandXur onto the Ryan, so they have to play a lot more defensively.
Now diving forward, Papillon again in the thick of it, taking a bit of hurt. Bello's been able to pop that ultimate out already. Hamzy is the first casualty. Hugo as well gets dropped, and this is just so nicely handled. Again, super low economy. Only ultimate used there was the rally.
And you can see the positioning from LYNX as well in that narrow space, that road coming through to the actual point. GrandXur funneling through as that Ryan goats come. They look around them, they're being surrounded completely by LYNX TH. The ability for Rod Tongue to get into the middle of the mix, drop the bubble on the inside. Panties charges himself up onto a Transcendence as well. They're able to get so much damage from multiple angles. GrandXur have nowhere to go.
The only ultimate at their disposal now that the rally's been used is this Transcendence, at least until Silver gets some ultimates available. Grab's got to be the big one, you're quite right. Rod Tongue has to pop his Primal Rage. Zobi is low, nearly has his Sound Barrier. Hugo popping his Transcendence. His ultimates now just start to get traded. 1 for 1 so far. Papillon finds a second though. That's a big one. They do get one back, getting silver coins back, but they haven't finished him off just yet. And now Hamzy can come up on his own grab. They need it badly as well because they lost Hugo, but the grab does pay off. They catch some members, they get some kills, and suddenly Boombarapa finds himself alone on the point, gets dropped down, and it now belongs to GrandXur.
The timing is so good from Hamzy there as well. Was an early sound barrier coming up from Zobi, so waited out a couple of seconds, then dropped the grab. The sound barrier effect is completely nullified, then collect the kills. GrandXur actually lost a decent amount of members before the grab came out, but because the grab was so on point, they're able to trade it effectively. Finally recap, 98% for LYNX, so very similar to what we saw on Mecha Base. If LYNX win one fight, this is their map.
That being said, when we saw it on Mecha Base, LYNX came back in with a lot of ultimates. This time though, GrandXur have a huge shatter! Absolutely excellent from Papillon. That is how you capitalize on the ultimate advantage.
And this is about the point where for GrandXur, they need to charge up some more of their own ultimates, because for LYNX TH, just save up. Don't want to use anything. And for Rod Tongue, going to change himself over onto that Ryan. And this is part of the reason you have to have the Ryan if you want to go up against an Earth Shatter, because the Winston has a bubble, and that's it. When LYNX TH don't have control of the point, when they don't have the ability to dive in so freely with positioning advantage, that's when they're going to think, okay, we can't play this comp anymore.
Ideal time to swap though, because you start off charging your Earth Shatter at the same time as your opponent. Now fight breaks out, charge in, very long charge. They do get Charm out in that one. GrandXur in a bit of trouble. Rod Tongue already making this one count. Grab did go out from Hamzy, but didn't really get much for it. Papillon holding on to a shatter, needs another big one, does get another decent one. Natsuru-sama and Zobi, they do both get picked as well as Bello. Here's the counter, but not the follow-up, as LYNX just kind of throwing that ultimate into the wind. Panties though, he did get one. They nearly actually held out for a second there, but having lost that support, it's not long for these last two tanks, and they took ages. They could have just dove off and reset. Instead, they're now very lean for time.
And not only are they resetting late, but they gave up an ultimate and they reset anyway, so it hurts extra. And right now, Bello, he's going to go on to the Doofus. This has to be the make or break. GrandXur do not see this coming. Will it be too late when they discover it?
Really went in early to ensure that they got the overtime. Now the rest of the team in, they barely get onto the point in time. They have to make this count. Bello's really got to show us why we rate his Doofus so highly. Sound barrier on Bello. He's nearly down, but not quite, as Panties finds Papillon, saves Bello's life, and immediately Bello makes it count for something as he finds out Hugo now finds Charm. Panties does go down, but Bello's still in the thick. He's throwing them out. The 1-2 punch combo, looking for another target now, looking to charge on in on top of Hamzy. He's going to get dropped down. The flip back over to LYNX. They've got the ultimates coming up. Silver Coin doesn't get the connection on that. What a way for Busan to fall, and it's LYNX that are going to win it.
And when the chips are down, you can always depend on Bellows Doomfist to come out for the rescue. And now, look, it wasn't the flashiest Doomfist play we've ever seen, but straight away, 2 picks off the bat. If he gets nothing else done, one player doesn't go down despite getting super low, gets himself 2 picks. That's a 6v4. That's already enough of an advantage for LYNX TH to be able to win.
What a treat of a map as well, for how close that came. I mean, the first map was just all the way over in favor of GrandXur. And then we saw LYNX just kind of answer it back in similar fashion on Mecha Base. For downtown to actually go as close as it is, I had to say, was a bit of a surprise to me. And then, like you said, when the chips are down, when all was said and done, it's LYNX who were able to pull it out. They had something more to go on. They had that ace up their sleeve of the Doomfist.
And this is where the leverage you have from having initial good progression, 98% on downtown, 99% on Mecha Base. Even though they didn't come back with a huge amount of ults for downtown, they had time to play with. They could lose a large number of fights in a row, 3 or 4 fights in a row, get to the opponent's overtime, and still have that extra ace up the sleeve that they've been saving, the Doomfist. If you didn't pay attention on Season 1, it's going to be a sucker punch that catches you out when you least expect it. And that's basically what happened here. Again, 2 kills out the gate, didn't go down despite getting very low. That's enough for LYNX TH to swing it around. They already had an advantage to play with. They had the time to lose, the time to burn, swap things around, change things up a little bit, and then come back for the victory. A 2-1, a hard-fought 2-1, but a well-deserved one.
And we did say from the outset of this, what was in favor potentially of both of these teams. With GrandXur, you had what they were able to qualify with, coming through 3rd in trials, just in behind Nova, who themselves had a good showing. And we said, hey, maybe LYNX, these new tanks coming in, this particular combination of former Bazaar and One Chain players, maybe this is a dynamite combo. I've got to say, the tank play, it was shaky on Sanctuary, but immediately after that, that was just washed away and gone. Rod Tongue really showed up both on the Winston and on the Reinhardt, and we saw similar play out of even when Nutsuru-sama was on the Zarya when they were playing Ghost. Just on the whole, very nice.
And the other thing to consider is when we looked at these rosters, specifically LYNX TH, we were wondering, you sort of mentioned this, a new tank line. We haven't seen Pikachu come just yet. That's a real name, by the way. They do have a flex tank called Pikachu. Now, instead, we do see a role swap. We expected, I believe it is Bumburapa to be playing a main tank. It's actually Rod Tongue in the main tank. Bumburapa's role swapping onto a flex tank indeed. So they kind of alleviated that by playing their slightly more veteran players, the more experienced players that they did use in Season 1, and then having that new main tank come through and show us why he deserves to be on the team.
It was quite interesting as well. We did say from the outset with this team, it was going to be the new tank lineups that were the biggest question mark, the sort of most untested thing. They're not players that we'd really heard of before, and there has been a decent amount of tank talent out of Thailand. So showing up is quite satisfying to see, I have to say. Moving forward, though, it is going to be GrandXur's pick. They are going to take us back to Numbani.
And which is really exciting because when you look at the last series, where Numbani took us to was a bit of a change-up in momentum of what you can realistically play. Now, we saw a lot more 3-3 in terms of, the GOATs again. Winston GOAT's a little bit more popular in this version, except when you get to the 3rd point, then you might want to swap to the Rhine. But otherwise, I think Super Kree is going to be, again, a very good comp here, particularly for GrandXur. Hamzy back onto the McCree, solo DPS, supported by 5 members. You can play that on defense, you can play that on offense. Having that McCree there is going to be important. Now, the sort of change-up is going to come through from, when LYNX TH see the McCree, assuming we're going to see the McCree again, how do they want to shut that down? Because when we got to Mecha Base, the way they were able to get onto him, the way they were able to initiate those fights, despite being kind of the slower team and the team that needs to do a lot more chasing, they were able to catch up to GrandXur anyway, and that's kind of what forced them to change compositions and put them behind so much. So now, defensively, are we going to see that again out from both teams? We're going to see something different out of GrandXur, who have kind of played realistically one thing mainly so far, but at the same time, you can say the same about LYNX. They've basically only played GOATs.
You're quite right, and this is also where we see potential for other flexibility for both of these teams to show like you were talking about, a bit of the breadth of what they can do. And I think it'll be important for them to kind of dip into that here, because I'll be honest, they've shown us what they can do so far. They could just stick to that, but you're going to eventually need to play other things, potentially on Numbani in the future. you might as well do it now, get it out of the way. If there are going to be any issues with it, you want to find out sooner rather than later when it's maybe going to count for a lot more. We see even things like, we saw a Farah earlier on as well. So especially that point A, a lot of ways you can approach it, both offensively and defensively. This is where these teams need to show that they're not just one-dimensional.
And despite this being the locale where you saw the Doomfist, and I mean, it's kind of cinematic, not really an animated short, it's kind of an animated short, but not the official one. Point I'm trying to make is that despite Numbani being where that takes place, you don't see a lot of Doomfist being played here. It's not really his map. It's not really one of those maps that really favors Doomfist. So if you're looking to specifically play against LYNX TH on something where Bello doesn't quite have the same leverage on that specific hero, this might be the place to go.
Ready for battle.
A lot of birds. That's what I really get out of this map. A lot
Just
of
in
birds.
the world, not even just this map, just everywhere.
I'm just like remarking, you know? Just shower
Even in
thought,
cold
like,
places, I mean, the birds, just penguins, it's still birds. I mean,
there are just
everywhere.
a lot of birds when
All
you
over the
really
world.
think about it. So many birds. Speaking of, that's a Doomfist, but it's on Boombarapa. I don't think that's going to be what
It's a fake
to
Doomfist.
be honest. It's a fake out Doomfist. I mean, I'd be very surprised if this is what they roll out with.
If anything, you put Boombarapa on the Brigade and you put Bello on the Doomfist, so I don't want to say GrandXur has the interesting comp here. It's the Sombra Tracer dive that we did see a little bit out of coming from, I believe, was Nova Esports on Horizon, but this is not Horizon, and this is certainly not Nova Esports. Very interested to see how they can really utilize this, and LYNX TH are going to put Nasuda-sama on the Genji as well.
And it's also on the defense instead of the offense, which is where we had seen that dive previously. Right on this offense. The Genji with the Ana here, you've got that Nano Blade combo available. You've got a lot of dive potential of your own. Just looking for the angle in.
What it says to me is that GrandXur are not interested in holding a certain position on the ground. They're interested in flanking. They're interested in taking the fight directly to LYNX.
Nice hack onto Nutsuru-sama, but he drops down to the ground and he is going to be just fine. LYNX are playing this nicely. They are forcing GrandXur to just go onto the ground and play a particular location, a particular spot.
Ooh.
Nice fire grenade to finish off Hugo. Good opener. Bello does get low, but here's the defense to keep him alive as they've split off some members of GrandXur.
And this is when they need to keep Rodtung alive as well. Pressure out with the 6 versus 5. Get that initial Dragon Blade.
Nice
That's a
bomb.
deflect on the pulse bomb.
Sick play from Nutsuru-sama, who as soon as this hack runs out can pull out a blade. Might not even need it, just finds the shot on Papillon. Now they can preserve that blade, combo it up with a nano boost later on, and they got that pick on Papillon in perfect timing to ensure they cap the payload.
That, sir, is a hot potato. You want to throw a grenade at me here? Have it right back. And Charm, look, oh, that's got to be one of the worst things to experience as a Tracer, getting that deflector straight in your face.
Literal
LYNX right now,
your own medicine.
They got nearly 6 ultimates, double supports coming up. It's going to be the Nano Blade, but there is an EMP on the other side. If the EMP lands, then Sama's going to have a bad time.
See, these are really high momentum ultimates. The EMP does come out, but Charm got picked with a headshot beforehand, so the follow-up's not been there, and now the favor slips back the way of LYNX. They can get the momentum on their side. Papillon is playing Disrupt, and Charm is looking to rejoin on a Farah. However, that's going to take a bit of time. This isn't ideal. This is still GrandXur on the back foot. LYNX, you consider how low economy this has been. Only used that Transcendence to clean up all of those kills and push back forward with so many in the bank.
What is exactly not ideal is the fact that LYNX TH only used 2 ultimates here, the Transcendence and then the Rally. And for GrandXur, they used the EMP despite Charm going down early. That's a 5 versus 6, and they couldn't get enough members of LYNX TH. In fact, they didn't get a single kill. They didn't force any other ultimates out, which means the Nano Blade is still an option here for GrandXur, already looking to lose B because of that.
And they have literally nothing to counter out this Nano Blade with, short of just outpicking him or stunning him. There's the stun. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, you said it.
Yeah, Nutsuru-sama does still at least make that combo mean something, but oh my goodness, that self-destruct placement from Silvercoin absolutely rescued that defense.
Gonna upgrade him to gold coin status in a second here. Of LYNX TH, look, it's not going well. It's not going well at all. It's 4 ultimates, including a Nano Blade, and he got bashed straight away. I was actually concerned that it's Nutsuru-sama in the blade that was going to go down self-destruct. On the silver lining here is he didn't go down, but 3 members of his team did. That's still extremely unfortunate. He couldn't turn things around himself. Only got a couple of kills. That's not enough for LYNX TH, and GrandXur miraculously defend this B point.
That being said, at least for a moment here, both teams are now naked. There's no ultimates available on either side, and last time we were in that situation, LYNX did edge this one out. But with Bello already getting picked, now Hugo comes up on a Transcendence. Charm is just going off. Charm, are you kidding me? 3 for nothing? LYNX, they're not even able to respond here. Bumbarapa ends up taking a dive, and Rod Tongue barely gets back to base alongside Natsuno-sama. GrandXur really looking to make this defense stick.
We talk about low economy fights here as well. For GrandXur, they didn't have to use much, if anything. 6 ults may be online very soon if they can charge and continue charging. They're going to get 2 to 3 in the next few seconds, in the next sort of before the next fight arrives at least. So for LYNX TH, lost a lot of momentum here. 2 minutes 30 onto the clock now. It's a decent amount of time to play with, but it's going to affect their ability to take C if they can get there.
Now LYNX trying to find a way in this fight. Need to get some picks in. That's going to be the real big one. Hamzy close to a grab. Going to be tough for LYNX to deal with that unless Bumbarapa able to catch you with the defense matrix. GrandXur just keeping on the pressure. They don't want to let LYNX play the card. They don't want to risk losing a fight, but LYNX have now absorbed some ultimates and have backed off.
And GrandXur say if LYNX want to back off here, we don't necessarily want to commit anything. We'll let them back off and reuse this grab later on, which could be coming up very soon.
Looking for the angle, throws it in, or not quite yet, hasn't committed it. Instead, Hamzy goes down. That's rough. Just as he committed it, and it gets absorbed for the most part by that Transcendence. Good self-destruct from Silver Coin, so it's not out of the woods just yet, especially with Papillon finding Zobi. And LYNX, despite absorbing that grab, despite killing Hamzy right as he threw it in, they still could not get kills of their own to follow it up, and they lose the fight.
And right now, the play of the game happens to be throw your Silver Coin into the Graviton well and make your wish. And the wish comes true twice for GrandXur. It's multiple kills on the self-destruct time and time again. Even though Hamzy goes down, the damage is done. The setup has been placed down, and LYNX TH, they're pushed backwards.
This time though, for the first time in quite a while, LYNX TH are going to come in with an ultimate advantage. They should be able to get this cart underway, but they need to still execute. Nicely placed grab, catches a good number of members with the sound barrier to counter it out. What? Barapa! All over GrandXur, and that's all she wrote for that fight. That's 4, man. Silvercoin got 3, Bumbarapa shows him who's boss.
Yeah, it's a 3 and a 2 and then a 4. It's just a lot of self-destruct kills here.
Counting them up.
I mean, if you want to be nitpicky, technically Silvercoin's got 5 over 2, but in 1, 4 is very impressive. It's impressive enough that for LYNX TH, they are going to cap out that second point. And when you do see Winston go to the 3-3, the Winston can't do that much against the self-destruct. If it was a Ryan, maybe you block it out, but you want to be playing Winston here, and they want to be able to dive in.
I don't know who to rally to. Everyone's popping ultimates out now as LYNX TH. They've already committed everything they've got. This could be a bit dangerous for them because GrandXur have more still in the bank here. It's now these Transcendences coming up now for Panties. Hugo already using his. Self-destruct forward for Silvercoin. This time does not get the connection. LYNX have just pulled back. Now looking for a re-engage. Diving forward to these tanks. Looking for an angle with the Graviton Surge.
Focusing Silvercoin is going to be important here. Get him out of the fight, and that's going to give you a free grab.
Oh, they've isolated him. They dive and follow up. That's so huge. Like you said, free grab now for Natsuno-sama. Goes on forward, looking for an angle, even just threatening it as big as a huge catch. Self-destructing as well.
That's
another 2 for Bumbarapa as LYNX TH looking to barrel this one forward. GrandXur will get one last gasp.
And it's going to be a big one as well. GrandXur going to inhale all the way in and exhale out that big Graviton Surge from Hamzy, and the only way for LYNX to stop this is going to come down to Bumbarapa. Can he absorb this grab, or will it be a defense?
That would be such a game maker here. It does connect on a couple of members, but the sound barrier is there. Bumbarapa still loses his mech though. Now Marlon's got a sound barrier of his own. GrandXur in a decent spot for this final defense because LYNX, they're lacking in the ultimate department, but Bumbarapa is about to get his mech back.
And there's time here as well. 35 seconds, and Natsuno-sama's almost onto the grab. Primal Rage Warrior out from Rod Tongue and GrandXur. No, it's time.
They get the grab, they get the connection, and Rod Tongue already found something. That was all they needed out of Natsuno-sama. Rod Tongue goes deep for charm. They've separated them out. Bello's still in the mix despite going low, and Panties has still got a Transcendence. Pops it now to keep the team in the fight. We'll have a rally in just a few hot seconds as Bumbarapa finds another one. Rod Tongue low, makes it stick on on Silver Coin. Charm now looking to stall out a Wrecking Ball, try and disrupt the point as much as possible, but Lynx have it on lockdown. Might even be able to get it before overtime. No, not quite, but they should be able to secure this as the last kill comes through.
GrandXur, though, able to defend until the overtime comes through, but it's all coming down to the grab self-destruct combos, which again is so strong when you're playing Winston Goat, specifically against another Winston Goat here. And there was some significant slowdown onto B, you have to say, because we saw some huge players coming out from Silver Coin on his own self-destruct. Not all of them were set up by Graviton Surges, I might add, especially that initial 3 kill when the Nano Blade came out from Tsurusama. That was a big defense, because had that play not have happened, this could have been a full capture from LYNX TH in a much better time. They would have had something on the time bank, but now they have 0.
Don't walk.
Or do, because that is a walking symbol.
But if the walking symbol's been destroyed, it's probably not a safe place to walk. You got to think, right? Like, that would certainly be my interpretation.
But walk the other way.
Yeah.
Walk in the opposite direction.
Walk away. Just walk away. I'm just imagining right now the dude, like, on the sign is lying on his back on the street, like, hey, I'm walking here.
What I want to do is say about when we have to consider that A defense from the GrandXur here, when they were playing Sombra Tracer, was a very difficult time for Charm there, as the Tracer player had some annoyances on the back line, but otherwise was relatively easily pushed out. And for that kind of a defense, the reason you don't usually see it is, I mean, you need a lot of initiation, you need a lot of dive pressure to be able to pull that off. It's a lot more common to see defense players and defense teams want to bunker up, want to play a Soldier, want to play a Rissa, do something that really says attackers come to us and we will defend when you come to us versus us going to you.
Now LYNX, same thing on the defense as they opened up with on the offense, and GrandXur themselves, similar kind of approach here, just Charm not going to be on the Tracy's, on the Genji instead. So a dive composition effectively out of GrandXur as they get right up onto the high ground, put some pain onto Tsurusama, but don't quite convert the kill.
One tick's about to come through if LYNX TH aren't going to be careful. And by the way, super refreshing to see dive essentially come out from both sides, even at pseudo dive on the LYNX TH side. And neither team's really committing here. In fact, it's GrandXur that are kind of posturing backwards. They're just losing a decent amount of HP here. 40 seconds gone already. Nearly saw 1 tick, but not going to see any progress just yet.
And again, the moment Hamzy tries to move in around the back line, he's getting found out and taking chunks. And when it's not him, he backs up. Suddenly Papillon takes a chunk of hurt, and they just can't risk going forwards in that situation. They're kind of forced to keep retreating.
And both sides are nearly onto the Dragon Blade. In fact, Tsurusama's about to get his first. I wonder if he's going to go in. Charm goes down.
With him dead, I mean, they don't need it at all now. And this is the rest of GrandXur just backing right up. They are not going to risk losing any more members.
And Charm going down is exactly what breaks that stalemate as well. We're still waiting for the EMP. That's the other win condition for GrandXur. But he's just so far away right now. It's going to come down to specifically the blades. And I think the Nano Blades here, how Zobi responds and how Malin responds, especially with the sleep darts on both Annas as well, is going to make the difference.
GrandXur again just getting onto the point to try and what a sleep! 3000 IQ out of Hugo. He does still go down, and Tsurusama is still up. Rodtongue did go down as well without being able to use a Primal. Zobi as well without using his ultimate. That's the power of EMP, baby! And the sleep ends up making that offense. Despite a couple of counter trades, GrandXur have this point.
And Charm didn't get to use that Genji Dragon Blade, but gets to save it for the second push now. And you're right, the EMP does so much, but not before Hugo actually lands a Sleep Dart first, and that was what was mentioned. That's one of the key counters against a Nano Blade, or just any Dragon Blade of that description. And when you look at GrandXur as well, the other condition for them is if they can get a hack onto Tsurusama, that was another way they were going to disable their blade. So a lot of options to play against the Nano Blade.
Poor Tsurusama has, for the second time, just not been able to get his dream Nano Blade, even when nothing else is there to block it directly. Speaking of block, Zobi can block out this Dragon Blade. Nice. Sleep goes out onto Rodtongue, but Charm can't get much done with that Transcendence running. Takes a swing at Bumbarapa, does get stunned, does get demech, but has a self-destruct to preserve that one now as they put the pressure onto Papillon. Rodtongue is low, taking some hurt, but LYNX are in a decent position here. Haven't lost it all. As I say that, they start to take the hurt as they go in for a retreat. They don't quite cover themselves, and Charm takes advantage, drops panties on the back of the fight. That's going to be the cart continuing to move now for GrandXur.
And this is where Charm really comes into effect. Despite the ability to not get any kills on the Dragon Blade, I mean, he just didn't really do much. He got onto the back line, kept Panties quite busy, the Ana play on LYNX TH, busy for a long time, which denied healing to Rodtung and Bumbarapa. Rodtung goes down quite early, and for LYNX TH, their entire composition breaks apart when they lose their tanks, and then suddenly they don't have anything to play around. Now coming to the next defense, Natsura-sama, this blade has got to be good.
They can do another Nano Blade combo. You'd like to see it there. It goes straight out. This time there is no sleep. Oh no, I lied. He got Marlon first at least, but oh man. Hugo 2 for 2 on those sleeping on the Genjis. That's rough. But LYNX still very much in this fight. They do have the slightly closer respawn if they can stop Charm here. If they can't though, his Dragon Blade's gonna really hurt. Looks for Zobi, gets on top of him, doesn't close out though. Finally gets the one, but now this is where it could get hairy. Bumbarapa out with the self-destruct. The rally comes out as well. Self-destruct doesn't fight much. Bumbarapa doesn't remake either. That is far from ideal, and Charm continuing to harass this back line. GrandXur back in the driver's seat now.
GrandXur should be capping this out very shortly. Charm's taking a long time to get these kills, but Slow and City wins the race specifically for GrandXur. You'll notice for Charm, he's not doing as much as Natsura-sama on the grand scheme of things, but actually, over a longer course of time, he does a lot more. Despite not getting slipped in his Dragon Blades, when he is just usually playing the Genji, he's actually able to get pressure onto the backline. He's able to pick up kills every now and then, and for GrandXur, that's all they need. Natsura-sama swapped with the Zarya on the reapproach onto B. That says two things. One, he doesn't want to get slipped as a Genji anymore. B, they're ready to play on this final point.
It's interesting, just that change in how much hurt the backline takes. Natsura-sama gets popped instantly. They do put Banana onto Rodtung. That's going to force out a sound barrier, but it does mean Rodtung doesn't get anything done, doesn't get a kill to answer back. Bubble on Charm will mean a lot of charge in the pocket of Hamzy. LYNX have really yet to find a way into this fight. It is just GrandXur slowly whittling LYNX down.
It's another stalemate here. Both teams essentially playing the same comp now. One with Ryan, one with Winston, but is it going to be the self-destruct?
Oh, Panties is not going to be safe, and while Panties is dead, Rodtung takes a bit too much hurt. Natsura-sama as well. Bumbarapa goes down. They're just barely going to get some respawns.
And this could be it. This could be the final push here with 2 minutes something remaining. GrandXur will have time in the time back.
Oh,
no one touches the point.
That's a huge mistake. They had two people alive. They did the sensible thing by waiting for a full 6 and not trickling on the point, but they still needed to send someone forward to ensure that they would get the stall. We do still go into time bank. They can still take this to a draw, but that does really hurt LYNX just a little bit.
At the same time, though, you got to say GrandXur played that amazingly, because Bello came out in the Doomfist. He wanted to punch his way into the cart. He actually got bounced back with the whip shot. I think it was a whip shot coming out from Hamzy.
Yeah.
Whoever was playing the Brigida on the GrandXur side saw the Doomfist coming through, had the whip shot ready at exactly the correct time as the cart was going to make the final approach. Whip shotted Bello backwards into his base and then finished the cap. That's all they needed to do.
They've learned to not let Bellows Doomfishing
for a stall on the cart.
Doomfish. It's very confused when people started talking about, you know, the new skin, the aquatic one, because they called it Doomfish. I just finished finally getting around to playing Doom, and I was like, what, is he a fish now? Like, Doom guy's a fish? I'm very confused. I kind of forgot for a second that Doomfist existed in Overwatch.
Which is funny, because I bet most main tank players haven't forgotten.
It'd be very hard.
They get reminded all the time.
They wish they could forget. They wake up at night in a cold sweat. Ah, rocket punch, uppercut. No, they're fine. It's okay. Everything's... Wrecking Ball coming out now.
Or not.
Yeah, never mind. They're really changing things up. GrandXur cannot decide what they want to roll out on.
This is the kind of discipline you need as well. You need to be able to address what's on the other side. Consider what you want to use here. Swap Hugo onto an Ana. He's been playing fantastic on the Ana so far. And really just meet what LYNX TH have on this defense. They want to play Natsura-sama back onto the Genji, and if they want to do that, well, actually, you're right. It is going to be just another swap coming through from GrandXur. I mean, they've got to play Super Kree. That makes sense as well. You want to dive into this? Shield Blast, Flashbang, that should take Natsura-sama down.
They spent about 30 seconds ultimately on swaps in there as well, which does leave them with only time for maybe one and a half good fights. Have to see how they play this first one out.
It's just
Marlon finds the headshot, threads the needle. That's huge. Hamzy as well gets a lot of pain onto Rod Tongue. No counter trades coming in. They just can't get anyone in to do damage. They've only really got one DPS in this comp. He is already dead. Now it's cleanup. That's going to be a win. Handily taken out from GrandXur.
It's only one DPS, but this is why they call it the Super Kree, because it's a super-powered, full resource filled up DPS, and when McCree gets that much resource, protected so well by the backline, which includes Lucio, which includes Zan and a Brigida and all the rest, defense matrix from a Diva and a Winston that can do so much. I mean, this is what just enables Hamzy. This is what enables their comp. They spent 30 seconds choosing, but at the same time, they were rewarded because they chose what was going to be good, what was going to be strong, what they were confident in playing. There's a potential for them to get punished if they weren't going to have a successful push, but they knew they just needed 1/3, just a little bit. They just needed to just get past that first cap, and they take the victory.
Well, I mean, the real one DPS that cost there was LYNX. They only had one DPS. They only had the Genji. And the moment you lose that, you don't have anything to stand on in that fight. You don't have anything that can get onto the backline and reliably kill a McCree in any way, shape, or form. You're just kind of hoping that your tanks are somehow able to do that. And if they don't do it quickly, by the time they've got enough damage out on the McCree, if they kill him at all, he's been able to just open up on your backline.
And it's just not the same as the Super McCree comp, right?
Exactly.
Because you have the Brigade and the McCree working so well in tandem. Like, again, Shield Bash and Flashbang, whichever order you want to do that in, that is 2 stuns laid on top of each other. Anybody that eats 1 stun
and great for countering
is just going exactly. And a Genji eats 2. In fact, the Genji eating 1 stun is already death. 2 stuns is, you know, it's like overkill.
If you survived 1, you're not surviving 2.
We'll see how far the teams can survive this, because we are going to go to another break here. And right now, LYNX TH, you know, they had a great start in map 1. We do have a comeback from GrandXur, already 2 matches in a row. It's been 1-1 at the first break. We'll have to see what happens after this break.